last video, I hinted at what the elements were about in the main theory of the book. In this video, I'm providing a little more clues as to how they are used in the book. But I'm also explaining the genesis of two of my elements from another author who was the main inspiration for the book, the late Richard J. Goldstein, aka Rich Gold of Xerox PARC. Figure 20A is from his posthumously published book, The Plenitude. But it's another ish because I've excluded from the videos the Axis labels that are included in my book. Those Axis labels are from an AIGA conference I attended back in 2002. It appeared in two of his talks, Red, Research and Experimental Documents, and Damp Phones, but were excluded from his book. These colors are not part of his diagram. Instead, Rich used cartoon images. In his book, the axes are not labeled. Specifically, the horizontal axis leads to two of my four elements. I call it the golden contrast. Rich did explain what the vertical axis represents in his book. The top rolls, what Rich Gold called hats, were inward-looking, and the bottom rolls were outward-looking. I found some truth in this distinction, but I didn't use that distinction for my elements. He called that horizontal line separating the vertical portions the wall. I'm going to blur the crisp line and make it a fuzzy distinction. With his gradual degrees of inward-looking artists towards the top of the graph, I can plot the separate three kinds of artists Rich Gold describes in page 12 of The Plenitude. Just for contrast, I'm adding two more outward-looking creative professions at the bottom. As you can see, technician is halfway off the chart of creative professions. Now I'm changing the one-dimensional inward-outward spectrum to a two-dimensional plot. The blue center represents outward as if you were looking out from a telescope. You'll see why it's slightly off-center. This makes the axis arrows redundant. I'm changing the colors because they won't be representing the inward-outward distinction. Instead, they will be representing the four elements of my model. Next, I'm changing those roles to disciplines based on the elements and the inward-outward distinction. This changes the position on the chart. I'm also changing the disciplines to more specific versions that are relevant to my model. Art becomes fine art. Marketing is included as part of design. Science becomes natural science. You know where this is headed. Social science is included. But I'm also including the minor core discipline of philosophy. Just to show a more inward version of science, I'm including theoretical physics. The horizontal middle of the chart includes formal science, economics, specking, and coding. Lastly, I'm including the other minor core discipline of techno-philosophy. This is figure 20B-ish because it excludes the axes labels and the legend that's in my book. It's an imperfect translation from Rich's model to my model, what I call the SOA, Science of Art, model. Figure 20C-ish is essentially the same chart, but with the fuzzy inward-outward colors replaced by the crisp colors for each discipline. These are 5 of the 6 core disciplines. The art discipline is oversimplified. The technology discipline is excluded because it doesn't translate. Design and engineering are not core disciplines because they stem from core disciplines. I say this figure is overcomplicated because my elements are not mutually exclusive, so the axes are misleading. The way the elements work are more accurately represented by the symbols. I mentioned in the book that I welcome others' additions to the symbols as long as the original meaning of the elements remain intact. This is an example of an addition that's exclusive to the videos. I'm moving the symbols to the center of the blue and adding a ring. As the ring expands, the elements are more inside the ring, meaning more inward. The elements are more outward, outside the ring, as the ring shrinks. How would this change the symbols of the disciplines? I'm initially showing these 4 as an example. Here's the original symbols, and here's how they look with the ring. To further contrast the inward-outward distinction in science, I'm taking out natural science and inserting a more specific version, particle physics. You can see the correlation when I add the fuzzy colors back in. That's figure 20-ish. Hopefully it makes you curious enough to get the book. I'll explain the genesis of the other 2 elements later in the series. I hope you are looking forward to it. Please leave feedback in the comments. Thanks for watching.